All right, we're continuing our Wellness Wednesday because the one and only therapist, Kristin Mize, she's sitting right next to me. She's going to help us reclaim our power, set boundaries, and bid farewell to the era of people-pleasing. Hi, Kristin.
Hello. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you, too. We're friends, but you help so many people, and I love to go on your website and just fill myself with positivity and follow you on Instagram. But we're talking about people pleasing. So let's get into it. Why do women in particular get stuck in the cycle of people pleasing?
Well, honestly, it starts when we're young most of the time, and we learn somehow along the way that being helpful or being generous or making sure everyone is okay, there's value in that somewhere in our family. And so it's really just a habit that is conditioned in us. So that's the good news is because we can decondition ourselves and learn a new habit.
I oftentimes too feel that it's other women that don't like it when you put boundaries up. So I try to be really cognizant of that when somebody is teaching me how to treat them, to like pay attention to that and also enforce it, because it's important to have support.
Absolutely. So it's super important to pay attention to people who honor your boundaries and respect your boundaries. The people who need them the most are typically the ones that give you the hardest time when you do assert a boundary.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's really good. Okay. How do we, okay, so like this really puts a risk on like burnout and people like you feeling bad or guilty. Like, why is this so hard on us and our mental health?
So if we are constantly putting the needs of others in front of us, so really people pleasing is the moment we choose someone else's needs or wants ahead of ours. Okay. And if we continue to do that, our brain and body are really good at making life easy on us, so it just becomes habituated, it becomes automatic. So sometimes we enter into pleasing without even recognizing it until, you know, days, weeks, months go by and we're completely burnt out. We can also become frustrated, resentful, and honestly, it can lead to anxiety or depression too if it's not really taken care of. So, you know, and as moms, we have so many people to take care of, or that's the idea, and there's so many societal expectations that we do everything for everybody. It just doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, I think I always thought that I was just really easygoing, but I think I might be a pushover. Honestly.
So people pleasing, think of like this, it's like driftwood floating in the ocean, right? It goes with the flow of the current, right? And so as people, as women, as moms, we want to be more like we are a steady ship, knowing our direction. And that's where people don't realize they're people pleasers. It can show up in different ways. Go with the flow, easygoing. That can be more like pleasing behavior sometimes.
Oh, that's me. Oh, you're so nice. I think you're going to help me.
There's a difference between nice and kind.
Okay. Yes. Oh, that's really good too. Okay, so how can we start to do the work to change and to set boundaries?
So I think first step is you want to really have a good gut check with yourself, okay? Notice what comes up in your body, in your mind, when you're presented with something that, you know, to do or somewhere to be, or even people that you're around. If there's something that comes up in you like dread or angst, pay attention to that. Or if you have the thought, here we go again, I don't really want to do this, those are important. Those are red flags. Those are areas we want to pay attention to, and that's where we can start to shift there.
I'm sorry I'm making this about me. I just want to say
that's what I'm here for. Okay.
But I do feel, okay, here's another thing, that how do you handle when you start to be more proactive and people are like, ooh, what's wrong with Kara? She's acting so aggressive lately.
That's
now what do I do?
That's the problem. Saying no is not aggressive. Saying no is, it's not a bad word, you know, it's saying yes to ourselves. And the problem with that is if our kids are they see everything we do. And that's kind of how we learned to be pleasers, right? Is learning from our parents, oh, if I do this, I'm okay. If I do this, it gains me attention or approval, right? So we want to model this for our kids as well. It's not aggressive to say no. I think that's something we have to get over. It can be self-preserving, and it's saying no to things that aren't serving us. So anytime we're in pleasing or in that mode, we're really denying our own authentic needs. So then we lose touch of, okay, what do I really want? What's good for me? And so that's part of the work, is really getting down to what feels good to you and what doesn't. And if people have a problem with that, it's not because you're doing something wrong.
You got to do the work inside first and start setting those boundaries. Kristin, tell people where they can find you. We're out of time, even though I could ask you 100 more questions.
So I'm on Instagram. I'm a Calm Mom Collective. And so, yeah, I'm helping moms feel more calm by setting boundaries, being guilt-free, letting go of perfectionism and people-pleasing. And that's where you can find me.
All right. Thanks, Kristin. Thank you for being here. I'm going to have her back, y'all. So if you have any questions, reach out to me on social media and I'll ask her. Okay. Coming up in a